Wow, this lighting is oppressive. Hold on one second. Well, now I'm just in the dark. Okay, well, this isn't well planned out at all. All right, well, you know what? It's good enough. It's good enough, and that'll do, and that's all right. So here we go. Hey, everybody, welcome to October's Horoscope for Knitters. I was planning to do like a fully recorded version of this month, but it wasn't in the cards. As some of you might know, I am currently reporting from Florida, where I'm visiting my folks, where I was here last week with, that like minor like weather event that came through. And we have another one coming in a couple of days. And so instead of going back to Seattle on Tuesday, I'm staying. So so why not just we're just going to do this live because that's the way it's meant to be, I think. And so I'm using the oh, actually, before I even get to that, you know what? Let's take care of business first. Some of you, a lot of you, hopefully, remember watching September's horoscope for knitters, where I had an extra copy of the mystical creatures tarot deck from my friend, and hopefully you enjoyed that. I do have the winner. It is Laura Arena 7838, who I've already been in contact with. So thank you so much for everyone who participated. I will be doing another deck giveaway before the end of the year. So if this one wasn't you as the winner, maybe the next one will be. So thank you again for everyone who watched and subscribed and put an entry in and commented. I really appreciate it. And hopefully you will enjoy this month's horoscopes. So, speaking of, back to what I was talking about, this month I am using the Tarot Disassembled. This is the first edition of this by Jennifer Steidley of Ferocious Ink, who I happened to interview in my podcast, Knit a Spell, a couple of years ago, I think. And Jennifer was awesome, a fellow Virgo. She talks all about the amazing deck and how she developed it because it's very original. It has all symbols, symbology of the tarot without like the normal art. So it's really cool. I love this deck a lot. Plus, it's got love colors that we can also glean some information on. So I think you're going to really enjoy this deck. And I haven't had access to it for a while because it's been living here in Florida while I have been up in Seattle. So it's nice to be reunited with it again. So let's see what there is that. I'll be sure to link the episode where we interviewed Jennifer in the comments. So if you want to watch that next, feel free. Let's see, any other business? Oh, I'm wearing my Count Your Blessings cowl, which if you haven't already found and downloaded it, it was gleaned from an episode of Knit a Spell that we did last year that I did with Sasha Ogden of Skein Shop. And then this season, which is happening now, if you are looking for something else to watch this weekend, you can catch up on the season 6 of Knit a Spell that is currently active. Oh, P.S. There's not going to be an episode of Knit a Spell this Wednesday. It's just not going to happen. The weather and everything that's been going on. Sometimes you got to cut yourself some grace, right? So take it from me. Sometimes you make up your own deadlines and you can remake your own deadlines. So yay. All right. Before I get to pulling cards for each sign of the zodiac, I am going to pop a little beverage because when hurricanes come, parties come out, and that just is an excuse to have a little bit of a calming beverage. So there we go. Let's get hydrated before we pull cards. Let's shuffle and see what October holds for us knitters. Thanks to Tarot Disassembled. I love this deck because the cards are super thick. Actually, there's at least another version, like a edition 2 that's out. And I know she also has round cards version of it now, which I really want. I love uniquely shaped decks. That little square deck that I always use, the mini cat tarot, is one of my favorites. For one of those reasons, because there's many different ways you can read them depending on how they come up. Here we go. Whoop. Okay. So without further delay, when one flies out, you know they're ready. Okay. Oh, I almost said Aquarius. Well, yeah, no, but let's start with Aries. Aries, for you, we have the High Priestess. Now, you see what I mean by these cards being very unique, wherein they are symbols that appear in the traditional artwork all on their own. I really think they're so graphic and so amazing to glean from. And so, Aries, this October, trust your instincts, trust your gut, because things that light you up from the inside, things that are coming from within, are really going to inspire you to make things in the outer world. So, if you have a hunch on a project that needs to be finished, or maybe you're thinking, ooh, I would like to get a jump on knitting some gifts for people. Trust that instinct because it could be right on. And if you're someone like me who's also in Florida, I hope that this is a good sign that you'll be in a safe and dry space. Make sure to bag up your yarn. Get it to higher ground. You know, mold is nobody's friend. All right. Whew. Remember, I'm in Florida. It's too hot for a cowl. Count Your Blessings Cowl. Get it on, it's linked down there. It's free. If you make one, please let me know. I want to know what number you made, what yarn you made it out of, all that fun stuff. Okay, Taurus, for you, we have the Knight of Wands. Also, this color, this amazing orange on orange, makes me feel very active, which I guess it's a Wands card, so that makes a lot of sense. So for you, Taurus, I see you rushing towards exciting things, but they're items that you've been building towards. So if you've been taking classes on certain skills, or if you have been making a lot of progress on a sweater, this is the month where I think you could see a lot of things happening, especially if it's been sort of like a slower summer up until now. This is the month where knitting could really get back into your life and start influencing little pieces. So maybe you're now bringing knitting projects with you when you're going to little events, or you're going to kids' events, school stuff. Kids have school stuff, right? Yeah. Um, Having a little project with you is going to make the little boring times go a lot quicker. It'll be a lot more meaningful for you too. So keep a little project with you this month, and I think you'll be really happy and get a little bit of like some sneaky progress on projects too when that happens. Let's take a quick sip break. Hmm. Now, I'm not sponsoring this or anything, but I am drinking a sour monkey triple sour. Ooh, it's good, but it's very high alcohol. So be careful. It'll get sip and knit responsibly. Okay, next we have Gemini. For Gemini, woohoo! Gemini, you the 10 of cups. Okay, who is going to be visiting some family? Or maybe family's coming your way. Maybe you're traveling to a place. Opportunity to bring travel knitting. Ooh, I also love this green. It makes me feel like, again, you're going to be completing something. So maybe projects that you've had on the needles for a while are finally coming off the needles. Oh, that always feels so good. Finishing a project is, I would say, twice as good as casting on a project, because then you have the project. That thing that you wanted initially, cast it on, now you can actually enjoy it. Maybe it's a big blanket. Maybe it's an item for one of your family members. Maybe it's just something for you to go out and enjoy, like a little sweater. Then, oof, so much finishing for you, Gemini. So much friendship, so much fulfilling knitting in your future this October. I can't wait to hear what comes up for you. Maybe even some surprises, something that's going to make you feel really good that you may not have anticipated coming your way this October. Ooh, so fun. Okay, next we have Cancer. And for Cancer, we have the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so choices. You are not without projects to knit with. And so maybe having more than one on hand would be helpful. Some people like having a difficult project that makes them kind of think and get them out of their busy lives, and then a really easy project for social knitting so that you can keep in your busy life. Juggling between these two or multiple projects, it doesn't have to necessarily be two, but maybe multiple projects, will really help center you this month because we don't always have to be riding the waves. And if we are, it's not always bad. And I realize that I have a Cancer ascending, and I'm saying this in amongst the rain and the impending bad weather. So hopefully, this is a good sign that if we go with the flow, prepare, and have our projects ready so that we can keep our anxiety low and be mindful of the things that really matter, it's going to be really helpful. So let your projects help keep your balance in the physical world this month, Cancer. We got this. Okay, next up, Leo. For Leo, we have Temperance. Balance is the name of the game this October, Leo. What are you going to again, this could be a good time to have a mix of finishing and also starting. So, maybe before you start your next project this month, you should finish one. And blocking is a really fun way to reinvigorate any project. So if this is a project that maybe you finished this month that's been sitting around on the needles for a long time, giving it a really good, honorable blocking will sort of let it know that, yes, we may have had some time apart. It wasn't personal. And now I'm ready to use you and put you out in the world. And what a beautiful little thing this could be. So it could even help you. Hmm, Maybe this is like you're getting yarn from a relative. It could be a gift, or maybe it was from someone who's passed that you can honor them by knitting their project, finishing it, or using the yarn that they have on hand. Could be a really great month of connecting with your knitting, whether that means you're simply getting the currency going, meaning you're finishing before you start so that you can, keep needles on hand and still have supplies that you need, while not also overwhelming yourself by having so many pending projects. So that always helps me finish things is when I don't have so many things in the works that I just can't even do any of them. So balance is the name of the game for you so that you can continue your love of knitting, Leo. All right, Virgo. What do we have in store? The Two of Cups. Okay. Balance is a big theme this month, it seems. And for you, it's going to be an emotional balance. So, making sure to not only have projects where we're committed to doing them for other people, also remembering we want to commit time to doing them for ourselves, the quote, selfish knitter. But really, what I mean is like the no stress, no expectations knitting, which as a designer, I really appreciate sometimes because we don't often have time to knit projects for fun necessarily. But when we do, they're so freeing. So I invite all Virgos. And, as a Virgo, I get it. We tend to commit ourselves to things because that's one of our love languages. We want to help. Um, we can also help ourselves. So make sure that you're not filling up everyone else's cup. You're also filling your cup so that you can have this really wonderful balance and perspective to know that all the projects will get done, even if you're not working on them constantly all the time. So a little time for yourself will make the grass greener on the other side, or grass or greener. I word well. Okay, next up we have Libra. 10 of Wands. Okay. So maybe it's been stressful, Libra. Certainly, I understand there's a lot going on in the world right now, and there's a lot continuing to go on in the world right now. So maybe knitting is not a priority for you, or at least not the hard projects. This could be the month where you either take a break, put a hard project in timeout, or simply reach for your social knitting, that fun, easy, mindless sort of knitting, because the 10 of Wands can often indicate too much, like a overcommitment kind of a feeling, a burden. And so remember, we can always lighten the load by just putting down some of these commitments. Do we really have to do them all? Maybe not. Maybe we're ripping out some projects so that we don't have 10 in the works, right? Look at the projects that are on your shelf right now and see which ones are worth your time and which ones maybe it's time to let go of. And more than anything, just don't bother with projects that are stressing you out right now. Life is already stressful enough. We don't need that. You're in control. Remember, only we set expectations for ourselves. Okay, next we have Scorpio. For Scorpio, we have the Ace of Pentacles. OMG, if there's ever a card that is meant to start a new project, it's this one. I mean, maybe also the Ace of Wands, but certainly the Ace of Pentacles being the uh, material world that we're in. I think starting a fun new project just for you or for a loved one that you really care about, ooh, it's going to light you up. And I bet you're already thinking of that person or that project that you want to start next. Usually it's not hard for us. We always have something in mind. And if you are a Scorpio of commerce, you may have a very good month in terms of selling your items. So if you're knitting items or you're knitting patterns or any sort of making, this is a good indicator that your work is going to be like planting the seeds. So even if you don't see the immediate financial benefit earlier in the month, towards the end of the month, and certainly maybe even into November, I think it could be a very lucrative time as well. So if you were a Scorpio who's selling things, leave a comment and let us know what you have going on. I'd love to know. Okay, next we have Sagittarius. And for Sagittarius, I did that face. We have the Three of Swords. Okay, again, a card that maybe gets a bad rap, but there's nothing wrong with the Three of Swords. Three of Swords indicates something that we love so much that maybe isn't around anymore or a bit of a sad time. And certainly, again, it's been a hard month, right? It's been a hard few weeks. And so if you're feeling it and you're in it right now, first of all, it's okay. Honor those feelings because we don't want to just bottle them up and push them out. That's a sure way that whatever you're knitting right now is going to be very tight. That gauge will change with stress. And so by honoring our feelings and reflecting on them, we actually can see the things that make us sad or upset is because we like them so much. And that's actually a beautiful thing. So we can turn the scales on this a little bit by not letting things bug us too much if they're the little things, because the bigger things, they cause enough stress. So, if this is a month for you where you're feeling a little bit high on the emotional spectrum, again, you don't have to have commitments of making for anyone. You don't have to knit for anyone if you don't want to, or if you do, that's great. But if you get halfway through the month and you're like, I'm over it, put that thing in timeout. Honor your feelings more than anything. And when you're done with the project, if you're like, great, I put all my emotion into it and I never want to see it again, that's okay too. You have the right to use your knitting as a therapeutic tool. And then whatever you made, if you don't want it anymore, you can give it a great blocking and then gift it along to someone else or donate it. And then that person can enjoy the knitted piece and you can enjoy having a bit of an emotional release. And if you want to have a really interesting reflection, look at your gauge this month and see how your emotions might be affecting it because maybe you need to go up a needle size in order to have the one sleeve that you knit last month match the sleeve that you're finishing this month. I've certainly had that happen with mitts that I've made around like the holiday time, where one came out one size and the one that I did after the stressful season came out much bigger. So, gauge. It's funny like that. All right, next up we have Capricorn. And for Capricorn, we have the Four of Swords. Ooh, Capricorn. All right, fellow earth sign, it's time for you to relax. So if anything you're knitting is causing you stress, put it in time out, put it to bed, put it to rest. You can always come back to it later. This can be a month where you can just chill. You don't have to do anything stressful. Again, another theme where if you're already feeling a little bit overwhelmed, use caution. See this yellow? Caution, caution, caution. You are the master of your domain. You can just put these things away and then come back to them another day when you feel better and more into it. And oftentimes, especially if you're working on a project that's driving you a little crazy, a little time away can offer a lot of reflection. I, on many occasions, have had problems with a project, put it down, come back a week or two later, and somehow that problem was like immediately clear, or that bit of the pattern that I couldn't exactly figure out is suddenly like, oh, okay, well, now this is quite obvious. So having a bit of a break is a good thing. It will help you feel more refreshed and more into your craft. And seriously, who wants to burn out from knitting? I sure don't. So don't let it. You're in control, Capricorn. Okay, now for real Aquarius. What do we have? The Magician. Woo! Aquarius, this month, you're making magic happen. And you're impressing people. Oh, yes, because you are the master of your tools. Maybe you're going to be teaching this month to other people. Ooh, maybe you're teaching knitting or blocking or another skill altogether. Maybe you're just teaching some new people to knit. That's always a great way to reflect and enhance your own skills by teaching someone else. I often find I learn even more after I have to do that. Or I think about things that maybe I wouldn't normally think about, like, what do these notions mean? Or what do these stitches look like? And then a newbie can kind of reflect that back to you to make it a magical experience for those who are, who've been knitters or crafters for a long time. And suddenly you feel like, oh, it's all brand new, or wow, I never had that perspective before. You can keep finding this infinite cycle of inspiration by teaching others your craft and by continuing to master your own. So, if you find that maybe your craft is getting a little stale over the month, try learning something new and seeing how that can influence how you feel about it, because sometimes learning like a little embroidery or a little crochet that you can then apply to your knitting is like, oh, it makes it like a brand new craft again. And there's nothing more magical than that, to re inspire something that you already love. Oh, it's a magical, wonderful thing. All right. And finally, we have Pisces. And for Pisces, we have the Page of Pentacles. Ooh, it's going to be a nice, calm month, hopefully. And if it's not, you have the ability to see through the immediate stresses, see through the immediate situations that might be coming through, to know that maybe it's raining a lot, but the flowers will grow from it. Maybe it's raining a lot, but all of the animals are benefiting from it for a lot of it. Maybe not all of them, but in many cases, a normal amount is helpful. So looking at this Page of Pentacles, really embrace that inner learning, that inner child part of you, so that you can once again, sort of like Aquarius, find that love of the passion again and re inspire, regrow into this craft. And if you're a Pisces who's just learned how to knit, maybe a scarf is in your future. I love that this one is like, I know it's kind of literal, but anytime there's actually a knitted piece in these cards, I always feel like it's a little bit extra kismet. So if you happen to be a Pisces who is knitting a scarf this month, let me know what scarf you're making, because perhaps you can inspire other Pisces with a fun new project that they should start. This is also another good project, or a sign that maybe it's okay to start a new project this month, or maybe you're going to finish it really easy. Something might be like almost done and you just have to bind it off, or like do a few extra rows, or just weave in the ends and block it. I've certainly been that way. So anything you can do to just grow a little bit this month, I think will give you a lot of self-fulfillment, Pisces. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and learn. Okay, and I'm going to pull one more for the Knitting Collective, because certainly it's been a month. It's going to continue to be a month. And so what advice can we have to embrace to make us all courageous and aware this month? Awareness. Oh, the Two of Wands. Interesting. Look at your surroundings. And if you need to, move away from those surroundings. Make sure you're in a safe place. And if you have to get active, please do it in a safe way. Stay vigilant, stay aware, and more than anything, stay prepared. Have a little knitting with you so that in times of stress, your hands have something to do so that your mind can concentrate on what's important. All right, everyone. Before I go, just a reminder that I have been using the Tarot Disassembled, this really amazing deck by Jennifer Steidley of Ferocious Ink. Again, if you're interested in watching the interview that I did with her, it'll be in the description. If you're interested in casting on my Count Your Blessings Cowl right here, I have put a link in the description if you want to watch the episode about where we talk about it on Knit a Spell, about why it's magical and how you can pick a number between 1 and 9 to customize your own, to give it your own magical flair. It's all described in there. It's a lot of fun, and I would love to see your finished piece if you make one. Thanks as always for joining me for this horoscope for knitters. I hope you enjoyed this month, even though the lighting is a little bit weird and the situation is a little bit what it is, but hopefully we'll all move past. We'll be better on the other side of this. And yeah, best wishes, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you like it. I would appreciate the support. And remember, no knit a spell this week. I'll see you next week, though. All right. Until next time, be safe out there. Merry make, everyone.